Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Mr. Physique up here with a new vlog. New week, more training, more meals, more of the training lifestyle. I've just been on a basket workout and I'm going to continue this in the training park with some mobility and some cardio drills. So just having fun in the morning, in the fasted morning window before I eat my first meal. And today I'm going to talk more about my training lifestyle. Basically quite precisely how I set it up, what different kind of training styles I do, more about why I do everything I do, and generally if I think bodybuilding or training for competing in fitness is healthy, and a little bit about mindset versus physiology. So let's get to the fun. So for me, the summer now is kind of my dream lifestyle, living in the apartment of my family, having lots of personal space here, having a real feeling of privacy and freedom. For me as a person, I think it's crucial to not depend on others or having others depending on me. This summer, I'm living in my hometown Horten. This is a real summer city. The center or the docking area and the beach areas have truly been improved. So it's great to walk around here. And there are lots of nice parks here, good basketball courts, lots of good viewpoints. However, I'm waiting forward to get back to Trondheim, back to the academic and mindful circle, back to school and back to my favorite place there, aka this gym. Still going to be here for 1 month more, or maybe 3 weeks, and I will have no problems keeping myself busy. I have lots of exciting projects going on. It will be nice to see what I manage to complete in my time here, and my training and my vlogging is my life now. Training for 15 to 20 hours in total a week and training for a big goal is kind of my dream lifestyle. Training with ambition, training to develop myself to an insane level, training to develop me physically has always been a dream of me. And for that I'm doing 4 different training specificities. First, my resistance training is kind of a split with the legs on one day, chest and back on the second day, and shoulders and arms on the last day. So that's kind of my new training split now. I did a push-pull legs for quite a long time, but I needed some variety. So I just stock up the exercises and basically do the same program. And this takes around 10 hours a week to complete. Train every muscle group really hard 2 times a week. And then I have my cardio. And I think I'm maybe doing significantly hard cardio for 5 hours a week, just to elevate the heart. The heart is a muscle, and I think it's really important to prioritize it. Keeping your heart as a lagging muscle group is really not good when you talk about the health benefits. And then I have my mobility training, and that's maybe 2 hours a week, maybe a little bit more, maybe 3. But nonetheless, when I've actually got a good routine there and actually got away from the worst stiffness, it's not a really big part of my lifting week, but I need to do it. And then I have my posing, and for the most part it has maybe been 15 or 20 minutes 3 or 4 times a week, so I think I use over an hour on it. But I maybe realize I need to do it every day now. And I also want to do more athletic drills. I actually do some of the sprinting and jumping exercises, and I maybe think I want more of that kind of training in the future, just to develop myself more like an athlete for a sport. For example, in MMA or in basketball, I really want to play for a basketball team at some time. I'm often working using my feet. I was actually just outside and wrote notes for what I'm going to say in this video. And I'm often doing the same when I'm writing Instagram captions and when I'm thinking and working with other things. Walking steps is also a good way to meditate, and I think it's very important in today's society. People actually manage to meditate, to keep people in the present moment. And I think it's really important in today's society that people get the permission to walk more, so they have the possibility to actually live in the present moment and improve themselves by meditating. I'm keeping myself as active as possible. At the moment I have no problems walking 20,000 steps a day, and I'm doing my basketball and boxing in addition. So no problems getting a quick fat burn by that. Gym work is obviously complementary for anybody competing in bodybuilding or with the desire to develop themselves physically, sculpt body parts, work for the aesthetics. At the moment, I don't have a specific focus on any muscle groups, as I think I am pretty equipped for my men's physique show, muscularity-wise, but I'm training all my back muscles a real lot. My back is one of the muscle groups I have developed the most since last year, and it has truly grown. And I train all my back muscles freaking hard. I focus on hitting the lats properly whenever I'm training it. My go-to lat exercises are lat pushdowns, dumbbell lat rows, and a few different variants of pull-downs and pull-ups. I also think it's important to train the rhomboids and traps systematically. I also have a good focus on the delts on my training, with a big focus on the medial and the rear delts. Long story short, I'm doing all the effort I can to keep all my muscle mass or even improve body parts with my resistance training. And training freaking hard on a diet is so complementary. And the cardio is actually really important for me. I think it's really underrated in today's fitness industry. First, it burns lots of calories, doing it with a heart rate of around 140 beats per minute and making sure your body is adapted to that. You burn lots of glycogen and fat. You can eat way more food in general. You have the basis for burning lots of calories the year around. I ate in average around 3000 calories the last week to get really lean body fat levels. With no proper cardio training, I think my weight loss calories would be more like 2500. And 2, you get a real appetite suppressing effect. It is really good for keeping up good hormone levels, maintaining better insulin levels, keep ghrelin at a sustainable place. I think that's the main reason an average person needs cardio. And for me, it's really essential on this contest prep. For me, it's almost forcing myself to eat 5 meals because I don't get hungry. I'm busy all day, therefore I'm not interested in eating food, but I need to force it into myself. But I always motivate me to eat with actually varied and healthy food choices. I don't get hungry by instinct in 2 to 3 hours after a quality meal full of nutrients. And a third point, cardio is fun. It can be a variety of sports. Basketball, football, boxing, any kind of combat sport, swimming, cycling, rollerblades, skating, mountain tripping. Everybody uses the excuse of that cardio is boring to not do it. But they don't know how varied it can be. Play with your friends, take a mountain trip with your friends. For me, it's basketball and boxing for the most part. I also like soccer. Unfortunately, football didn't come home yesterday. Athletic drills can also be fun. I'm also doing mobility training. It's important for maintaining joints and muscle tendons. It really helps recovery. The muscles feel way better when I'm doing exercise. It can improve the range of motion in your gym lifts and makes it more optimal. And it's actually essential for example, loosening up my delts and my lats for my posing, because stiffness is like poison when you are posing. A huge reason I was very awkward starting my posing was because I was freaking stiff. Mobility is essential for anybody with athletic training interests. My opinion is that a bodybuilder needs to train like an athlete for an optimal contest prep. You need cardio and mobility. It's not enough to do a 6 times per week push-pull leg split and even train hard. Only strength training is very bad for burning calories. You only effectively burn calories when you do the warm-up and work sets. And you burn as many calories as me doing this voiceover here when you are sitting on your ass, when you are resting between the sets. Your effective gym workout is maybe 40 minutes, even though you are there for 2 hours. Then you only burn around 400 calories. Obviously, this is an arbitrary number, but you understand what I mean. You don't burn a real lot. And this training is highly fatiguing and appetite inducing. That's the reason why bodybuilders or fitness addicts dieting on extremely low calories suffer from extreme hunger and complain about it. I also think competing in fitness is non-optimal to combine with an 8 to 4 job, at least with a demanding job, lots of mind work, both in the gym and at the work desk. You can imagine it's freaking hard to learn exercises, learn good technique, learn good nutrition simultaneously while you are doing a demanding business, economics or engineering job where you have lots of pressure to perform. Competing in fitness is likely equally obsessive. I also think it's detrimental or destructive to combine bodybuilding with a sedentary job, at least when you are not consciously active on your free time, but when you are working 10 hours on a desk and being 2 hours in the gym. Do you have any hours left to do whatever you want? I think most of those people don't have the choice and need to just rest and prioritize their family. I also think sedentary jobs in today's society is a real world problem, because sitting on your ass is actually bad for your hormones, appetite and general health. It's bad for your back health and hip health, and at least I get restless, no matter how exciting the engineering job is. Also, I think sedentary jobs is a precursor to obesity. It's a general world problem that I need to do more specific videos about. At the moment, I really feel I benefit from setting up my schedule myself, having the environment to control my day, actually manage sleep health, having control over my meal timing, getting in the exercise, and having peace for my work and my meditation. It's essential for my exercise, my social media, and all my future plans. I think there are two things that are unhealthy in bodybuilding or training for a sport. First, the mindset set up by a goal or a real tunnel vision towards the goal. This kind of shifts away the most important from the training, the health benefits, the improvements in life quality outside training, the feeling of sharpness. I think it's unhealthy to forget all this and shift away to only thinking about being the best. An insane obsession, a way too big obsession for general health and balance in life. Also, being better than others, not doing it for yourself, but focus on the external. It's not healthy. I also think our tunnel vision creates a way too stressful and narrow-minded focus, because it's not only doing work for a particular set of time, but it's thinking about it for 24 hours a day, or without sleep 18 hours a day. Using 14 hours on a business or research is neither healthy, simply because such a big obsession will only lead to a lack of mindfulness, meditation, social input, and exercise and nutrition for health. It's the obsession that is unhealthy, for the most part not the exercise. And a second point that might be unhealthy is the cortisol levels or the fatigue that gets accumulated by lots of training. And here the high amounts of exercise can actually be unhealthy. It's basically amounts that the body can't adapt to or recover from. Basically, too fast progression in exercise amount or training load. It's unhealthy to lose 1 kilogram a week as a bodybuilder and eat 1,800 calories a day. It's unhealthy to lose 20 to 30 kilograms of body weight, getting from 20% body fat to 5% body fat on a contest prep diet, eating processed food on the off season, and only eating broccoli, chicken and rice when you are on the contest prep. It's unhealthy to play 15 hours of football a week while not eating enough, so joints and bones are driven to insanity. It's unhealthy to run 2 marathons a week when you have not done any cardio training for a long time. Training is a process of adaptations, and you need to manage your cortisol and fatigue to actually recover, and at least know how your body works. And we could maybe talk about the third point, and it's eating disorders. And this is kind of more like a bonus point. I think it's more like a side effect for most people in the fitness industry. It comes from processed food. It comes from fatiguing and appetite-inducing resistance training. It comes from restrictions and beliefs about that you, for example, can't eat fruit, but you are eating 10,000 calories of McDonald's and cake one day the next week when you can't control yourself. It also comes from the belief of that you need to bulk and cut all the time, which I believed for a long period. Obviously, that's not healthy. But you can exercise a lot and even do a contest prep without all that shit. People need to focus on just training enough for maximizing their health. It's actually a demanding task. It also needs hours of training. I think a minimum requirement for an unambitious 40 years old is 2 hours of cardio and 4 hours of weights in a week to maximize their health. Likely the double for somebody who wants to make some actual gains and have the fitness lifestyle. So basically 4 hours of any type of cardio and 8 hours of weights. The number of hours also depend on how intense the training is, and the resistance training will always depend on how many adaptations for progressive overload you create and how much muscle tension you induce. This kind of training creates a way bigger focus on mindfulness and health and takes away the tunnel vision and rather gives you a helicopter view. It sets the focus on yourself rather than external factors and external validation. It makes you exercise for the right reasons, or there is nothing wrong about training for a goal or a bigger thing, or at least have it as an overlying motivation. But keeping health and body physiology as the main components of your activity is the most important. Exercise is like drifting your body and your organs. Cardio is like drifting your heart. Lifting weights is like drifting your testosterone, aka your hair and skin health. Doing mobility and compound lifts is like drifting your joints and tendons. And walking is like drifting your hips, back and digestion. Training for health and body functioning is so underrated. It's way more focused on training for the benefits rather than training to get the sky-high cortisol and delusional thoughts about yourself and your training. You can take rest days when you need rest or when you need a deload. You just train hard and aim to progress, not ruin your exercise by obsessive mindsets. I'm actually making myself very busy with lots of business plans. Basically, I'm working to make a framework for exercise and nutrition for maximizing health, and a framework for hypertrophy and training for competing in bodybuilding or powerlifting. So I'm aiming to do this through my training books I'm maybe going to sell at some point. I also want to coach in the future, make a framework for contest prepping or year-round powerlifting training. Coach athletes there. Make people challenge themselves. Both use the right training, nutrition, and the mindset to actually create good athletes. I also have several app ideas regarding training, like a flexible dieting app, an app to kind of space down the area between intuitive eating and diet plans, kind of make the middle ground by balance and flexibility. Maybe also make a game or a training app replicating World of Warcraft with a level system, and you choose if you are a bodybuilder, powerlifter, or your type of athlete in the same way as you choose if you are a human, orc, or an elf. And of course, this is based on logging and filming from the gym, not a digital world. Try to make people addicted to training by that. I also want to advocate unprocessed food and nutrition in the shape of vitamins and minerals by fruit and vegetables. I think eating way more of that should be normalized in the society, and walking more steps or count activity in a significant way, or make sure people are sitting on their ass only a certain time of the day. I think that's a huge problem in today's society. Nobody knew or talked about this for 50 or 100 years ago. Nobody knew about obese people at these times. And today's society with desk jobs is not comparable to the ancient times or stone ages. Therefore, a dream for me is to speak about that publicly. A dream for me is to create kind of a McDonald's for unprocessed food. Create a fast food corporation for unprocessed food. Normalize unprocessed food in today's society. Because the biggest problem for the average guy today is that he doesn't eat enough unprocessed foods and nutrients. It will of course take a long time to actually make an end product out of all this. It's like a full ADHD with things I want to do in life. I just need to first do the work, set the framework, 2, network and talk about it and spread my plans and ideas, and 3, I need to be patient, and maybe one day I will finalize my projects and my ideas. Another thing I want to talk about is that I have tried out tryptophan, a herb that makes better production and absorption of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that, for example, keeps more stable mood. I started taking this supplement or medicine without prescription because I had a suspicion about that I might have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, or at least I have severe symptoms of that diagnosis or disorder, as I have grown deeper into understanding my childhood and teenage because I have had serious insecurities from these times. I have subjected myself to intrusive thoughts, both regarding things from the past or in my everyday life. I think bad serotonin levels is like poison for your brain. You become way more rigid. You become way more impulsive and neurotic. It fucks up your life in many ways. But fortunately, I responded very well to tryptophan. It's like buying mindfulness. Washing dishes or thinking about washing dishes was actually a struggle before, and I honestly thought, oh, it's so hard. I wished I could pay somebody for doing that and use my time elsewhere. After taking this supplement, I just do it. Just doing it fast, no problem. Now I can think about other things. And about old things, I could just get to an old intrusive thought and get aggressive for dwelling on it. For me today, it's just learn from it. You learn from everything you do. Everybody has their challenges and insecurities. I just need to grow from that. A probable OCD is not the only psychiatric issue in my life. I have also been subjected to a mild version of Asperger's syndrome in the childhood and in the early teenage. Or wait, do I have Asperger? Do I have symptoms of Asperger? Am I socially set back? Do I actually have presence in this world? When I mention the word Asperger related to me, people perceive that it's worse than it actually is, and maybe give me a label for it. I actually talked about this topic before I understood the diagnosis properly, and opened about my dark side in an old video. I think my story from that video is not very accurate, and it was actually before I understood how my problems accumulated. But I had lots of psychiatric issues at the age of 11 to 14, the period where I was associated with my Asperger in my teenhood or my late childhood was for me purely negative. It was a completely dark time. Total social rejection, social isolation, self-rejection, depersonalization, no mental presence in the world, only gaming 12 hours every day, being away from school to sit in the front of my computer, and on the top of that, being severely obese. I have actually thought a lot about that in my earlier videos. However, I've just become so much more comfortable talking about it, and I just need to think forward now. A huge component for any success in life is mastering your dark side. Be comfortable with talking about it, understand it, learn from it, don't dwell on it. Learn from it and get stronger. Go forward and move on. Also, we can talk about the story from when I got the disorder at the age of 8. I was given the instruction to draw 1 tree, but instead I drew 3 trees. Really obstinate, but 1 tree is boring. I don't understand why a wider group should be associated with Asperger, and I did some Lego and built up some nice things very quickly. And then the psychologist claimed I have Asperger. Generally, the story of getting the diagnosis was kind of on very thin ice. The basis was very narrow, and the psychologist was also known for giving the diagnosis loosely to as many people as possible. Totally moronic. To comment if I have anything from the diagnosis today, I actually had a talk with the psychiatric departments in Trondheim and they said they don't know. They claimed very clearly I could have no Asperger, basically being a disorder-free man, or I could be a high-functioning Asperger. They said it could go both ways. They claimed the disorder I got on the paper at the age of 8 was kind of outdated, and it needed new research to give answers to if I have enough of the diagnosis to get a new medical or psychiatric diagnosis. Honestly, I don't care about if I have the diagnosis on paper or not. The dark numbers for the disorder are high. Even the Norwegian chess genius, Magnus Carlsen, is not comfortable talking about his history with the diagnosis or his disorders. No matter what I do, I don't need to use the label of Asperger to suck. Work on myself from the weakest point, no matter what. Just improve and become self-aware. Live the best life I can. Be the best version of myself. Do the best I can in my training or with my social media business, at school, with my family, in relationships, and of course treating everybody with the same respect. Work on my skills, and if I have something from Asperger, just use it as a strength. I think my level of independence and desire to understand the world and how things are could qualify for an Asperger. I'm really determined. I really think that will be a huge success factor in my life. To give an honest view about my past, I think I used way more time than others to actually learn social cues and actually understand social settings properly. I was kind of a hyperverbal kid that had interest for lots of theoretical subjects. Both me and my father have been confirmed as people with really high IQ. And I was kind of a kid that was determined to just do my own thing and just be out for attention. So I have definitely had some transcendental crisis throughout my life to just understand how things are and that my behavior is moronic. I also think mental presence in the world is very important. I wish to actually live in the moment. I really think it's underrated. No matter what training or business ambitions or obsessions you have, I think video games actually contribute to mental absence from the world. And I experienced it in the worst way at the worst time. But I just need to learn and grow from that. So I think that's it for today. Training is my lifestyle, and spreading training motivation, advice, and a wish to be active will for sure be a big part of my life. Stay tuned for both my show on September 11th, it's actually that date, and of course for my future businesses, ideas, and ambitions. I also wish to be as open as possible of how I have developed throughout my life and talk about my previous struggles, and only use it to become a stronger person in life. If you like this video, give it a like to help my YouTube algorithm. Comment down below. What kind of training are you doing at the moment? What did you train today? Do you have any business ideas? Subscribe to my channel so I can keep up with my stuff and so I can spread it to more people. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.